Hi everyone. Hi SAP consultants, users, those who are interested in learning SAP, experts, and business users. It's nice having you in another session. We've been having a series of training on SAP S/4HANA, but for today, we're actually going to be looking at exchange rates and exchange rate types in SAP S/4HANA. In our previous session, we looked at the concept of currency. We looked at the different currencies that are available within the SAP S/4HANA system. We looked at how to configure those currencies. And like I said, currency configuration is important, especially if you're going to be processing transactions in different currencies, right? And for today, we're going to be looking at exchange rates. Basically, exchange rate is, of course, during the course of business in different countries, translations between various currencies would be coming at different rates. So, for example, someone in Nigeria will want to process transactions with probably a vendor in the US. And of course, the vendor is expected to, the person in the business in Nigeria would be charging the vendor in US in USDs. Meanwhile, Nigeria's home currency is Naira. So, of course, when this happens, there will be need to, first of all, make sure that USD currencies existing within the company code in Nigeria. And the next would be that you have to specify what is the exchange rate for 1 naira to, for one USD to different, let's say 5,000 USD to a naira, what would be that exchange rate? So that's actually that's actually the idea for this training. My name is Kelechi Adiele. I'm an SAP S4HANA Finance and ECCFICU consultant. And why not? You can reach me on my email. You can please like and share this video wherever you find it. The essence of this training is to improve understanding and enforce knowledge. So I would like you to always do that, right? And why not reach me on any of my social media platforms if you require probably support or training, or just general questions about SAP S/4HANA. Okay, so let's go into the course now. Now, what is exchange rate in SAP S/4HANA, right? So exchange rates are used to translate from one currency to another and are defined on a regular basis, right? So these currency differences change from time to time on a regular basis. So, I mean, within 24 hours, there can be fluctuations, between various currencies. The exchange rates play an important role during posting and clearing documents as they are used to translate foreign amounts posted and cleared based on the company code currency. Like previously explained, right? Um, the home currency or company owned currency would have to do the currency valuation in its home currency, right? So the financial statements will be presented in the home currency. Therefore, at the time of posting and clearing, that currency would have to be valuated at the company code currency. It has to be translated to the company code currency, although the transaction was made through a foreign currency, right? The exchange rate also determines profit and loss from exchange rate difference. So basically, this speaks to fluctuations within the exchange rates. So I mean, the company gold currency, for example, in naira can, um, um, I mean, you can, charge your foreign vendor or your foreign customer. You can create an invoice for your current customer, within an exchange rate. For example, um, that transaction would have been done for, 500 naira for one USD, right? In this month, but probably at the end of the month or before the end of the month, that the value of that currency has either gone up or come down. And the customer will be expected to pay at that new rate, or um, of course, during conversion, you have to do it at the existing rates, not necessarily the rates that was used to raise that invoice, right? So if the rates have dropped to 490, then during your valuation, you have to use the prevailing exchange rate in order to make sure that your financial statements um, complies with the true and fair view, within the standards, right? So it's important that it's important. It's a very very important functionality and I mean it's during that you have to make sure that your exchange rate difference GLs are actually created, right? So it's mandatory step to maintain exchange rate difference between the currencies to be used in SAP S/4HANA system. Very very important. Exchange rates between different currencies have to be defined. Exchange rates that are maintained in SAP S/4HANA system are applicable for all company codes. So they are created at client level. So all company codes can actually access them. All right. So I mean, this point would help you, deepen your understanding about exchange rates in SAP S/4HANA. All right. So how do we define exchange rates in SAP S/4HANA? First of all, of course, there should be a configuration where the GLs for exchange rate differences should have been done. This is just to show you how exchange rate transactions happen within SAP S/4HANA, right? But this was no major change between ECC and S4. I mean, the steps are the same. Okay, so I'm just going to minimize my system, go to the SAP S/4HANA system. All right. Just going to go back and the steps here are to go to. We can use the T code OBO8 to do our exchange rate uh, you know exchange rate transactions, or we can go through the menu path. So whichever one that is convenient for you, please oblige. Well, we're going to be using the menu path just to make you more familiar with the back end, which is the configuration side of SAP S/4HANA. So the go to SPRO, NetWeaver, general settings. That's just the difference, right? So I'm at the back. So you just go to SPRO. It takes you here. Go to NetWeaver. I'm just going to find that. Okay, check this. So go to ABAP platform. Um, okay. Okay, so I was just thinking I was still in ECC, so it ends for HANA. So I'm just going to correct this. In SAP S/4HANA, depending on the version you're using, you might need to navigate through the ABAP platform. So you go to the ABAP platform, go to general settings. You're going to see the different options here. You can check for currency codes that are existing. You can set decimal places for currency codes. You can check exchange rates, right? Here is where you enter the exchange rate. So you can just do this. Then it takes you to this table. If you want to know the T code, come to the drop down here and you're going to see the program that you can run to take you to this path of the screen. All right, so basically we have, these are the exchange rates, these are the dates they are valid for, the different methods. It could be indirect. Indirect could mean from the foreign currency to your home currency. Direct could mean from the home currency to the foreign currency. So whichever one is applicable to you, it's fine. So let's go to position, exchange rate type. We're using the average exchange rates, which will be M. So we can, use this as this is a standard, exchange rate for SAP. Please, it's advisable use this. You can you can create by copying, an existing one, or just use new entries. So I'm just going to click on select this and click on copy. So it's valid from 01/01/2022. And we're using the direct method. So it's going to be from from the company code currency to the foreign currency. So it's going to be from USD, one USD, right? So US dollars to GBP, which would be pounds. Just going to wait that to drop that out, which is the British pounds, right? So I could say that the exchange rate would be just at 5. That's how the translation happens, 0.5. So click on enter. So you see I've defined the exchange rate for this particular month. Now take note that this exchange rate will apply to all invoices until this exchange rate is changed. So for example, if I perform a transaction in March, it's still going to be using this particular exchange rate, right? If the exchange rate changes at any point, it's the responsibility of the users to ensure that they update the exchange rate program such that the exchange rate existing can apply to the invoices that they are working on, or else the existing exchange rate for 2020 is what is going to be used for all invoices or all transactions within that company code, right? So it's important that, like we said, this exchange rate applies to all company codes within the SAP S/4HANA space. So if we have another USD to GBP here, and this is the most updated one, all the company codes within the SAP S/4HANA system will be using this updated one. So it's important we have that, at the back of our minds. And like we said, it's a very important activity that happens on a regular basis, right? So, so basically, we have different types of exchange rate, different exchange rate types, which we're going to actually see in our next section, right? So this is just to, acquaint us with what exchange rates are, how you can, process exchange rates, and of course, how you can, configure your exchange rate. And like you see here, this is an invoice with FB60. The new exchange rate I just created will be actually, if I process an invoice and check the rate, is going to be at the rate between, if I run a GBP transaction, the exchange rate between USD and GBP will be at that rate. So it's important we have that, at the back of our minds when processing transactions. Well, thank you very much for the time. This is, a very brief class, right? So remember, you can always remember to share, like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's very important. And also, feel free to reach us, at any time. You have my email, and on other social media platforms. Thank you very much for this time, and do have a lovely day.